All right, so here in the middle of chapter 14, we really have been dwelling on the difference between the righteous, the tzaddik, the complete tzaddik, and the Beinoni. The Beinoni, by the way, is the goal of every average human being, most human beings, I would say, to reach that level of a Beinoni in which the animal soul of the man is in full control by the man's divine soul, in the three realms in which we exist, in action, in speech, and in thought. The animal soul in the Beinoni might make some appearances in the thought realm, but the divine soul of the Beinoni is so strong that it is able to push away those thoughts immediately. That's the Beinoni. The tzaddik, on the other hand, and that's what we've been speaking about, the tzaddik is a person who's not only eradicated the evil soul, or the animal soul, sorry, not the evil soul, the animal soul, but the complete tzaddik, the tzaddik shetovlo, as he calls him, is a person who was able to transform the animal soul into good. Now, it's a level that most of us cannot attain. But to dwell a little bit on this level, here it says that the animal soul has been so transformed by the tzaddik that the tzaddik has a tough time relating to animalistic features altogether. Just can't relate, doesn't understand. It's almost like, you remember that movie E.T., E.T. Phone Home from the 80s? So this extraterrestrial creature comes down and he has a hard time understanding human language. It's almost the same. Here, the tzaddik is so up there, has zero connection with evil, is so distant from evil, from any animalistic trait, that it can't even relate to it, doesn't understand it. And that's really what we've been saying, that therefore goes back to what we said, I think, 3 weeks ago, and that is that the more you love God, the more in touch you are with your divine soul, the more you are distant, or you despise evil, the more you can't understand evil, because evil stands at the opposite of God himself, the divine soul. So the more connected I am, the less inclination I have towards anything that stands opposite God. The complete tzaddik is so connected with Hashem, with his divine soul, that evil to him is really just a foreign language. Can't understand it. And if it stands opposite God, it even despises it. Why would you do such a thing, evil? Why would the animal soul even exist? Tzaddik is way beyond that. He can't even relate to that. That's what we've been saying. Let's continue here on page 35. As you mentioned, Margot, from the top of the page, in the second paragraph from the top of the page, he's consequently adjured a second time. Does anyone want to read?
I can read.
Please, thank you, Andrea. Go for it.
Okay. He is consequently adjourned a second time. You shall at any rate not be wicked. Here the right choice and freedom is extended to every person to check the drive of his heart's desire and to conquer his nature so that he shall not be wicked even for a moment throughout his life. We
Right.
can understand. Okay.
No, continue with the commentary. Yeah.
Okay. We can understand that this oath as follows: be a tzaddik, exert yourself to the maximum. If you are unable, then at least strive not to be a rasha. Through the book's title is the Book of the Beonim. The overriding goal is to be a tzaddik. From the start, we must establish a lofty target for our aspirations. And for this reason, the book speaks at such length of the level of a tzaddik. Not many people will reach this goal, nor is it at all a matter of choice. We cannot know this. No one is capable of knowing from the start if he is a tzaddik or be'ani. We cannot read a child's forehead for clues. This becomes clear only after subsequent effort and struggle. A child born a tzaddik comes into the world with only the possibility to become such one. From the beginning, his actions are not perfect, and he is capable of transgression. His development can lead to a tzaddik, but can also lead, in the absence of proper exertions, to not becoming one. Though not everyone has the option to be a tzaddik, one fortunate to be born with this capacity does not have a choice to be a tzaddik or a rasha.
Right. So there's two things here, one essential and one that continues to speak about the theme here of chapter 14, which began with, if you recall, with analyzing the word of the Talmud that tells us that before each of us is sent down to this world, we are sworn that we will be a tzaddik. Mashbi'im otot tzaddik. This is how the Tanya opens up. And this chapter says that the word for sworn also means satisfied. You remember that? That by making us swear that we will be a tzaddik, we are also being empowered with all the tools necessary to become a tzaddik. That's why mashbi'in can also mean masbi'in, which means to satisfy, which God fills us up, satisfies us with all of the tools so that we can fulfill this swearing in, this promise that we will become a tzaddik. But so that's the idea. This is what Rabbi Stein is saying, is that everyone makes that promise. Now, some of us won't be able to attain it. Most of us won't be able to attain it. But from the onset, it's impossible for us to know whether we were born to be that tzaddik that can eradicate evil and maybe even transform it, or whether we will be attaining just a level. It's not just, it's already a high level, but we'll be attaining the level of the Beinoni, where we won't be able to eradicate evil. We won't know. We don't know that about ourselves when we're 1 or 2 or 3 years old. We don't know that about our children. What we do know is that we have to treat them as if they were born tzaddikim, because you never know. We can't read, like Rabbi Stein puts it here. You can't read foreheads. Where is that line? We can't read a child's forehead for clues. It's impossible to know. We have to relate to every child as if that child was born to be a tzaddik. But regardless, I think that there's a deeper idea here that Rabbi Stein elaborates, and I think it's a very crucial one. And that is, and by the way, it's part of what it means to be a tzaddik. And if not a tzaddik, at least a Beinoni. What's the idea? The idea is that we have to aim as high as possible. Yes, life will throw at us all sorts of challenges. Yes, we may not even be born to become a tzaddik, but we at least have to aim for that level, even if we're not born for that. Even if life's challenges will get the better of us, we can never let the highest dream of becoming a tzaddik be compromised. We have to aim as high as possible. You know, the Talmud says on a different level, but the Talmud says that a person who doesn't have a dream in 7 days, this is from the end of the Tractate of Brachot, then he's considered cursed. Now, from a scientific level, as you all know, we all dream, right? We dream during the beginning of the sleep, at the end of the sleep, during the rapid eye movement, the REM. So what does it mean? We all dream. So what does it mean? How can a person not dream in 7 days? But the deeper meaning of this Talmudic statement is that this is not referring to night dreams. It's referring to life dreams, to aspirations, to goals. Every one of us should have goals and dreams, at least once every 7 days. Because if we don't have those dreams, if we don't have aspirations, then we're considered cursed. If life is just, something that I have to swallow, I have to live with, that I just go along with the flow and I float through the waves of life, then I'm cursed. And it's not a blessed life. A life that is blessed is a life that has many aspirations, at least once a week. If you haven't dreamt in 7 days, you're considered cursed. That's what the Talmud says. In many ways, I think that this is very, very true for our generation, maybe more than ever. We can't settle ourselves with what we have. You know, people, I really think that's one of the main differences between this generation and the previous generation. In the previous generation, if you would stop someone in the street and you would ask them, what's your big dream in life? They would tell you, I want to be the biggest billionaire. I want to be the biggest scientist, the biggest doctor, whatever it is. Today, try it. Today, stop someone in the street and ask them, what's your biggest dream? They'll say, I want to have a nice car, a nice wife, a nice house. All right. But are you really aiming to the highest? Are you really having that highest aspiration? What makes a superstar in the sport world, in the scientific world, in any world, a superstar is that they have the highest dreams. Michael Jordan, whenever he stepped on that basketball floor, if you think about this, he wanted to be the best player in the world. He wanted to score the most points possible. Did he achieve that every time? No. But it's true. It's true again on a Kabbalistic level here. God is telling us that we made a promise before we were sent to this world, that we will be a tzaddik. Why? So that we can set the tone for our lives, to always have those highest aspirations. And when we stop having those highest aspirations, that's when, according to the Talmud, again, we are considered cursed. So here, Rabbi Steinsaltz is putting an emphasis on this in the commentary, saying that let's remember, we might be Beinonis. Most of us have the potential to be Beinonis. Most of us don't have the potential to be tzaddikim. But still, our bar must be set higher than our potential. And that's really what this is about. And this is true, particularly in the realm of spirituality, that the more we aim, the more we can reach. Now, we might not reach what we're aiming for, but we at least get somewhere close. It's also the truth of life that, when we were students in school, if we aim to receive an A+, we may not have received an A+, but we don't receive a C. We got close. B+, A. But if your aim is to receive just a B, even a B you won't get. So the higher you aim, the closer you are to that A. So if we're going to aim to be tzaddikim, which we should, that's the goal of life in many ways, then we'll get close. We might not be tzaddikim, but at least we'll get close. And that's the inner dimension of these words here, that really we should aim as high as possible. Be a tzaddik. It's not just a false promise. It's really an aspiration that we should all have. So that's really the idea here. Now, to connect it just to the portions of the week, but Kabbalah emphasizes that quite a bit, that there's a juxtaposition between Pharaoh's dreams and Joseph's dreams. Everyone dreams. Think about this in the last few portions. But there's a striking difference between the dreams of Pharaoh and the dreams of Joseph. If you recall, Pharaoh first dreams of cows, 7 thin cows swallowing 7 fat cows. And then he dreams of sheaves, 7 sheaves of wheat, probably swallowing 7 thin sheaves, swallowing 7 fat sheaves. Anyway, he goes from cows to sheaves. Joseph also dreams, but the direction of his dreams is different. He first dreams of sheaves of wheat, also bowing down to him. And then he dreams of the stars of the heavens and the moon and the sun bowing down to him. So the direction of his dreams is very different. Pharaoh is going downwards from animals to earth, to the soil itself, while Joseph is first dreaming about the earth, the soil, sheaves, and then the stars and the moon and the sun, and then the heavens. Almost to teach us that if you want to be a Joseph, you too should have dreams that continuously grow upwards. You can never be satisfied with the realm that you're in. Pharaohs are the opposite. They go downward. But we want to be Josephs. And that's what this is saying. Set your goal to be a tzaddik. You may not reach it, but go to the highest of heavens. Then you'll be somewhat of a Joseph. But that's really the idea here. Again, I don't want to be monologuing, so feel free. This is what it's all about. Feel free to disagree, to add your comments, your ideas. Unmute yourself. Please. So I want to welcome back Marsha to our class here, I see. And Yair is here. Welcome, Yair, and everyone who's joining us. Okay. Any comments, ideas? Otherwise, we'll continue.
Rabbi,
Yes, please.
just one comment is that the flip side of this is to not be disappointed when you don't reach the goal, and not to have that be something that inhibits you from reaching. That you have to understand that part of the process is to fall short and to reach still higher. That's true
right.
in certainly in any, like the career that I have with music, we never achieve a perfect performance, but we don't. That doesn't mean we're devastated by the fact that we don't make it. You still have to reach.
Right. Very good. I love that. That's right, because then you can start beating yourself down, which is the worst thing to do. So dreams are there to push you higher, but when you don't reach them, you should be happy with the fact that they pushed you higher, even though not to the point that you dreamt for. So instead of beating yourself down for not reaching the dream, encourage yourself and actually tap yourself on your shoulder, so to speak, because you've reached a high level that you wouldn't have reached without that dream. That's true. You know, you remind me, Gary, since, by the way, Gary's one of the best clarinet players you've ever met, who's dedicated his life really to that. And I remember speaking once with the violinist of, I think it was the Atlanta Philharmonic or something like that. And I asked him point blank, I said, look, you played so beautifully, and I just want to ask you a question. I can't tell the difference, but what's the difference between you and Yitzhak Perlman, who's one of the best violinists in the world? I mean, you both play just magnificently. And he responded, I'll never forget his answer. He said, look, I play like Yitzhak Perlman just 10% of the time. Yitzhak Perlman plays like Yitzhak Perlman 93% of the time. And in many ways, see, that also speaks to what we're speaking about here, that we have to aim to play like Yitzhak Perlman in whichever field we're in 100% of the time. But even Yitzhak Perlman can't play like Yitzhak Perlman 100% of the time. So there'll be disappointments, but can't be let down by them. You can actually be encouraged by the fact that those dreams led you to where you are. Okay, thank you. That's a good point. Very good. Anyone else?
Rabbi,
Yes,
are dreams defined as during sleep and daydreams? And what if you don't remember much in terms of dreams while you know after you wake up?
right.
Is that some kind of soul?
So in fact, it's interesting because the statement that we quoted from the Talmud comes from the passage of the Talmud at the end of the Tractate of Brachot that is dedicated to dreams. Not just the dreams that we're speaking about, but the dreams that you just mentioned now, the night dreams that we have. And there's a lot of significances to the dreams that we have at night. I don't want to get too much into it, but if you remember them or don't remember them, I don't know if there's a sign to that. But it's quite interesting because there seems to be a complete synchronicity between the Talmud and Freud. Freud, who also analyzed dreams, because Freud's idea was that dreams are suppressed memories. Things that we suppress during the day float back into our minds during the night, and then we dream about them, right? And the Talmud says something quite astonishing, just to relate to that tidbit. And the Talmud says again in the end of the Tractate of Brachot that the righteous have wicked dreams at night, have dreams of the wicked, have not good dreams at night, while the wicked have good dreams at night. Now you can say that that's exactly what Freud is saying. Why are the righteous not having good dreams at night? Because during the day, the righteous are trying to suppress anything that's not good. So they're floating back at night while they dream. While the wicked do the opposite. They try to actively do bad, so they suppress anything that's good. But at night, what they suppress floats back. That's one correlation between those two worlds. But it's really, I would encourage everyone to read that last chapter of the Tractate of Brachot in the Talmud, in the Babylonian Talmud, and you'll see a lot of things. It explains what it means when you dream about certain things like cats, snakes, lions, elephants, all sorts of things. Anyway, did
Thank you.
anyone have a dream
Fascinating.
last night that wants to be interpreted based on the Talmud here publicly this far? Okay. I will tell you, if you dreamt, I'll give you just a little a little glimpse. If you dreamt, I know in Arizona we have snakes. So if you dreamt of a snake, it means that you'll be wealthy. But if the snake bit you, it attacked you, it means that you'll lose some of your wealth. So that's just a glimpse into what the Talmud says. All right.
Rabbi, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
When I studied Kabbalah,
Yes, please.
they taught us that a person that doesn't remember their dream in 7 days means that they're connected to their desire to receive for the self alone. So everyone dreams, but the problem is that when we wake up, we don't remember them. So if a person doesn't remember them, it means that they're connected to the side, to the energy of the desire to receive for the self alone.
Yes, but that's true, but it's complex because it depends what dreams. Because sometimes dreams are prophecies.
Correct.
And if you are deeply connected, then you connected also to the voice of God that speaks through you, which is that prophecy, right? So it depends on the dreams. You're right. If you don't remember your dreams, it could be a good sign because it means that you're higher than dreams. Dreams don't talk to you. They don't belong to you because you're much higher than that. You're one with God. You don't need dreams. But if you do remember your dreams, then it's good. Depends again on the dreams and their meanings, especially if those dreams are prophecies. If I'll tell you this, if you dream of the righteous, it's almost always prophecies. Like if you dreamt of Moses, of the Baba Sali or whatever, it's a prophecy.
Sure.
So it depends. It's a good point. Look, in many ways, we see this in the Torah itself, right? Joseph is a classic example, but his dreams were prophecies. Now, all prophets, you should know, from Joseph till Samuel, etc., they all dreamt through dreams. Oh, sorry, they all prophesied through dreams. There's only one prophet who prophesied in the most revealed way, face to face almost. That was Moses. You don't need to dream in order to listen to the voice of God. But so dreams can be a very elevating thing. Yeah. Just to go a little bit more into the Kabbalah of dreams here, if we already at it, it's interesting because the word for dream is an interesting word. It could come from the word sicknesses, like chole or machala. You have the same letters. And so the dream on the one hand could be a disease. On the other hand, the dream can also come from the word, if you mix the letters around, just like we did machala, from machol, which means to dance. And in many ways, that's what dreams can do to us. They can either make us sick or they can make us dance based on their content. So if they make you dance, it means you're actually one with God. So those are good dreams. If you forget the other ones, that's great. Otherwise, it can make you sick too, based on the bad things they may convey. But I will say this also, that it's very clear, also in the Talmud, but certainly in Kabbalah, that dreams are very often they are fulfilled. The fulfillment of dreams depends on the interpretation. And therefore, whenever someone says to you, hey, I want to tell you about the dream I had last night, first thing you should do is say, it was a good dream. As the Talmud says, you dreamt a good dream. Why? Because even if it's a bad dream, the dream follows the interpretation. So if your interpretation is that it was a good dream, then it must be good. So we have to be very careful also with the interpretation of dreams, because very often that's how the dream will be channeled. That's an important point. Just say good dream. Even when you have a bad dream, just say it was a good dream. That's fine. Okay. Yeah.
Rabbi,
Yes. Yes, please, Jordan.
just another thought about the dreams. I seem to recall also that when a dream is interpreted as something profoundly negative, that there is actually a process that we can go through to have an annulment,
Right.
so to speak, of the dream, certain prayers that are said and witnesses.
Very good. That's right. It's actually called Hatavat Chalom. bettering the dream. Also, to speak of that same point that we just made, that if someone had a bad dream and he's really bothered by it, so there's a prayer that one can say, particularly during the priestly blessing of the day, in which he can make the dream better, which is what this means, hatavat chalom. So that the dream is not interpreted in a bad way as you thought it is, but actually it's interpreted in a good way, and therefore it will be good. There's a prayer that is recited. Jewish law also says that if you are really, really bothered by a dream, you can give tzedakah, and that will transform it into good. Or you can fast, and that will also transform it into good. So one thing is clear from all of this, is that we're not controlled by our dreams. It's not the dream that controls us, it's us that control the dream, based on our interpretation, based on our transformation of it, sometimes through fasting or sometimes through tzedakah. But it also points to the idea that dreams are little prophecies. And that's why I think that, we should be, if we do remember our dreams, we should be in tune with the meaning, but try to find the good meaning in all of them. There are many videos I've seen of people coming to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, blessed memory, and saying, hey, I dreamt this last night, I dreamt that last night. And what's the common denominator between all these videos? It's just astonishing that the Rebbe always finds a good interpretation to those dreams. Because again, I think we control the dreams. The dreams don't control us as much as they try to sometimes.